vicious strike. Your flaws are revealed.
That ability is not
The
yet
storm
recharged.
breaks.
It is not ready yet.
Ha! A vicious strike.
That ability is not yet recharged.
This fight is over.
The Rift Guardian has found you.
Welcome to the patch 2.6.1 Tempest Rush Sweeping Wind build. I have a very in-depth guide on a T10 Tempest Rush speed farming build that this borrows a lot from. That's going to be included in the video description. Most of these items, like I said, are just taken directly from that build, but I'm going to focus on first the changes that came with 2.6.1, and then I'm going to focus on the main differences between this build and that build. Other than that, most of the idea is the same, the philosophy is the same. We just get a little bit more freedom with the new item changes that make this a really fun build to speed farm with in T13. So without further ado, let's look at the biggest changes that came with patch 2.6.1. Number one being the balanced diabo. This got a damage buff, 450 to 600%, up from 100 to 200, and it is now combined into the legendary affix of the item, so you can cube this and still get the damage bonus, which is definitely an upgrade. Frees up some more main hand freedom in terms of weapons. Also, the Caesar's Memento got buffed and went from 300 to 400%, up to 600 to 800%. And then the Sanmuko set itself got a rework, and so instead of spending a stack of Sweeping Wind as you Tempest Rush, that doesn't happen anymore, and you just have a flat 600% damage bonus for every stack of Sweeping Wind you have, which pretty much makes Vengeful Wind a must equip, either in the cube or on your person. So in any case, let's look at the differences between the build that I had for patch 2.4.1 and this one. Main differences being I am switching to a gold wrap belt. This makes you invincible. As you saw in the preview video, I was on top of I don't know how many explosions. It must have been like 5 grotesques, and their death explosions didn't even budge the health bar. So this gives you so much toughness, you will really have a difficult time dying. Just to look at the resistances, I mean, I'm not even trying here with the resistances, because you don't need it when you have 10 billion toughness just from armor. So that changed. That used to be the Kairoshiro's Soul, and that was a quality of life belt we needed for the fact that we were spending Sweeping Wind stacks every time we were Tempest Rushing, but not anymore. So we can use this belt, which makes our lives a lot easier in terms of toughness demands. And then, of course, the mandatory Avarice Band. This isn't new, but it does it's kind of a must with the gold wrap, so I'm just going to mention it here. And then we're using the Cruise Boots, and then the Obsidian Ring of the Zodiac. I put a Taegeuk in here for damage increase, and you could probably put a Bane of the Powerful in here too, and it wouldn't. You might. I've seen very similar results with it in there, but I like the Taegeuk. And then, yeah, I guess the biggest change then, the only thing that's really different is I'm using 2 one-handers now. So I'm using a Wonkim Lao for the lightning damage. Ideally, I would like to have lightning damage, dexterity, damage percent, and cooldown. And then the same with the Vengeful Wind. I would have liked dexterity, damage percent, cooldown. Obviously, you can't get the lightning damage on the Vengeful Wind, but it would have been nice to have that damage bonus since we're not really needing the vitality with the gold wrap. So obviously these damages could be, these one-handers could have higher damage. So this isn't by any means a lower bound on damage, but it's not an upper bound either. Yeah, so what's really important in this build is cooldown. You can see I have it rolled on just about every piece of gear, shoulders, gloves, both rings, and also both one-handers, 10%, 10%. But yeah, that's the rundown of the gear. I'll just mouse over all of them, just so you guys can pause it if you want to get a better look at them. But I don't want to spend a ton of time on these because I spent a lot of time on them in the last video. So yeah, if you have any questions about the items, just leave it in the comments of the video and I'll address them as I can. And then the balanced Daibo, of course, here is 600%. Beautiful. I can use, I can get more lightning damage here now. And then the hexing pants, pretty self-explanatory. We're always moving, so we want to make sure we're dealing more damage and not in regenerating resource faster. And then the Ring of Royal Grandeur, of course, gives us damage is the important thing here. We also get survivability, but the gold wrap really takes care of us. Alright, and then on the hotbar we have Annihilation for the increased speed and also the increased damage. Mystic Ally just to keep us going, to top us off when we're running low on spirit. And then the Sweeping Wind for, I took Inner Storm for the spirit regen, which is actually really helpful in this case because we always have 3 or more stacks of Sweeping Wind, so we're always getting that bonus, which is great. And really my preference since this isn't the main damage dealer anyway. Then we have Epiphany Ascendance, of course. This is the thing that makes sure that we're stunning every 1.5 seconds, which makes this build work. Electric Field, this makes sure we're attacking enemies 20 yards away from us. So we're not only attacking them, but stunning them, which triggers our Caesar's Memento. This is the combo that I go into great depth about in the last video. And then I choose Way of the Falling Star here. You can choose whatever you like. I like the move speed. You could also do Radiance. Radiance is nice. Attack speed will give you a damage bonus. I tend to like the move speed. And then in skills, or in the passive skills rather, we have Beacon of Ytar for the cooldowns, Momentum for the damage increase, basically just like another pair of hexing pants. Here doing more damage when you're moving. Relentless Assault. This is like another set of Caesar's Memento bracers. And Seize the Initiative is actually really cool. It gives you a bonus attack speed to enemies that have above 75% life. So how this works is basically when you hit a new pack, for 4 seconds you have 30% more attack speed, which increases your damage per tick. It doesn't actually increase the speed at which your Tempest Rush attacks. So it'll drain your spirit faster, but you have plenty of spirit regen with the Mystic Ally combined with the Inner Storm. So basically it just increases your damage, and since you're never fighting anything for more than 4 seconds, except maybe the Rift boss, you're always going to have this up. So it's just like another damage increase. I tried to take single res on all my gear because I usually play with Harmony, but it doesn't really matter that much. You're probably better off just about on everything. Some of these things it's mandatory to have, like if these shoulders, for example, I would never take a all resist in place of cooldown or resource cost reduction. Yeah, I would still say take the secondary res on all these things. And then, yeah, that's pretty much the idea. So, Paragons, I guess I can go over. Paragons, you care about move speed, maxing it out with your boots, max spirit, probably, and then the rest in dexterity. The most important things in this build no longer are crit chance because you don't need to keep maintaining your sweeping wind stacks. Crit chance is always good for damage, but the biggest things, actually, I should probably redo these. The biggest thing would be cooldown reduction, crit damage, crit chance, then attack speed. Here you'd probably want resist, armor, life regen, and then here you want area damage, resource cost reduction, life per hit, gold find. Doesn't really matter. So I just want to show you guys how the stat sheet changes as you move around with this build. It's a little deceiving. Standing still, you may have under 1 million damage, but as soon as you start moving, you can see very quickly it goes up to like 2.7 million just by running around very small amounts. And you can see we're already above 1 billion toughness. As you saw in the Rift before the build breakdown, it makes you virtually indestructible. And this is just due to the belt, really. And of course, that area of focused power from the Templar ring is also a nice little bonus. Highly recommended. But yeah, in any case, this is the build, and it's a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoy it, and I look forward to seeing it live. Until next time.